Hi, I'm Nixon. I would like to briefly talk about Web 2.0 technologies, and I'll be looking at the Kidblog app. Generally, Kidblog app is a classroom blog which is designed for use in K-12 by teachers and students. Because this is a classroom, each student in the classroom has the opportunity to own their own blog where they can express their own thoughts and knowledge about educational topics. During these discussions or blogging session, the teacher generally will moderate comments that are made by students, and the safety of the students generally are enhanced by the teacher giving these students pseudonyms which cannot easily be identified by anybody else who does not know about them. So when I look at this tool in terms of the Bloom's taxonomy, it can actually be used at the application level by the students because they are able to create their own blogs and interact with their peers in class. While in the SMR model, this tool can be used from the modification level where the students are able to create their own blogs, share ideas, and build new concepts which they can later on use in other areas in education. So I'll briefly go to explaining how this tool can be used in the class. So generally, because we have to get it from the internet, it is a free app, so we get it from www.kidblog.org. So when we get onto the website, this is what we see. We are creating a classroom, so we will therefore create a teacher account. For my case, I already have an account, so I only need to log in. When you are creating the account, you can either choose to log in with your Google account. You can log in with a Clever account, or you can choose to log in with a username. For my case, I picked my email address. So once you are there, you only need to log in, and when we log in, we really have to decide. We have to decide what we want to do. Because it is a classroom setup, it means that this classroom must have a name. So when we get in, if it was a new account that wasn't existing, then you would have gone to that get started option. But for this case, because we want to start, generally we have the dashboard. You can see here we have the classes. I had created here two classes. Here you can see I had the class being called Computer Grade 6, and then I described it as beginners. Here I used my name to refer to the class, and then I had 10th grade computer class being the definition of the class. So I'll come here and create a new class. This class that I'm creating, maybe if it is a math class, and here I can specify which grade it is. Maybe it is grade 5, grade 5. So I create the class. Once I've created the class, this we just ignore it. This is the class that I have created. Remember, I still can decide whether I'm using the same members or not. So the easiest way to work on the settings is we can come here. We can come here, and then once we are here, because this is what we want. Because this is what we want, we go to the settings, and in the settings you can see here it even has a location, so I can choose to say that I'm in Piscataway. Here I have a chance to choose a picture that I will use. I can decide to retain this, so I go to choose, and when I go to choose, we have the avatars here. Because that is a mathematics class, I can choose to pick something that is closely related to mathematics. I can decide to pick these stars. Generally it moves to this place, so I select to use it as my avatar. Once I have that, because here now you realize that we have themes. I can choose a theme that I'll use. I can choose a theme that I will use, so I can pick that as the theme. You realize it's showing that it is the active theme. I come to users, and when I come to users, there are two ways of bringing users who are the students on board. I can decide to use the join codes, or I add the students. So if I decide to add the students, then it means they will use passwords. So I have to click on that, then I can add them manually. When I'm adding them manually, maybe I want the first student to be called Candy, and I give them a password which will be temporary, so they can change on their first login. I add the student. You can see here that the student has been saved successfully. So I still come here and add another one. Maybe I have Kendrill as my second student. The password remains the same, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I add the student. I still come here and add another student, maybe Odur. I add the student. Anytime we add, you will always see here a message showing that the student has been added successfully. I can add another student by the name Tom. You can see that the student has also been added. So assuming that these are the students I want on board, here we have a list of our users. It's indicating who the teacher is, and then the others are the students. If you decide to use the join codes, then generally a code is generated, and then this code is the one that you send to the students. This is the code that you send to the students, and then, or you can still give them the URL, and then they'll be able to use them. So generally, if we want categories, then we can specify categories, but for now I don't want categories. We also will have the connections. You realize that here, when I click on connections, we have the other groups in terms of classes that I can connect with, so I can choose any to connect with here. Because this is not a real class, I will not really connect to any of these groups. So I go back to the dashboard, and then I I pick my class. Once I have my class, I go to new post. Once I have the new post, I can choose to have a header image here, a header image, because it's still my star, so I can insert it there. Then I come here and enter title. Maybe I want to talk about linear equations, linear equations. So once I have linear equations, I can come here and post questions. I want the students to do the questions, so I tell them to find the value of the unknowns, find the value of the unknowns in each case below. So I therefore give them some questions. Maybe the first question I have is x plus 5 is equal to 12. The second question, y minus 3 is equal to 6. So here I have to make that correction. Maybe the next one we have b minus 3 is equal to 10. So once I have this, because there are two ways of going about it. You may decide to save it first as a draft, so that you can be able to make any corrections. But even if I decided to publish this directly, meaning that now you realize that it prompts me to choose the audience, meaning those I want to share this task with. So here, because it is the classmates that I had already specified the other side, so I just publish. And then once I publish, I can decide to add a comment, maybe do the questions by tomorrow. So once I have that, then I can comment, so they should be able to see this. When I go back here, you can see it is showing that now I have 2 posts. So the students can log on into the classroom and do these questions, so that we can keep engaging each other as they do these questions. And then basically, once we've been able to create a class like this, then we will be able to even monitor, because here when you come onto this page, you realize that it is showing there are no connections. Then there is only one link, the Kidblog. We have the views. Anytime a student logs into the classroom or is doing some task, it will always show the views. Here the categories can be specified. Then here you realize that it's showing the list of members. Thank you.